All right, what you're looking at is the New York Post. Recently, this is the low point of Union County government. But anyway, maybe you can't see it, but who you see on there is Assemblyman Joseph Cryan, who is also a Union County undersheriff. How he got the job, I mean, the public really doesn't know. Rumor has it that he kind of forced his way on to Froelich to give him the undersheriff job. I guess a little background on this. You probably are aware of it because it made the headlines just a week ago. And the New York Post, I believe, was the one that broke the news of all these kinky emails from Cryan to this Karen Golden, who was a prudential lobbyist. And they had this affair that back in 2003, I think it was. Then Cryan broke it off, and she started stalking him and I guess whatever present girlfriend he was going out at that time. Romanko and the prosecutors sent something like 13 or 15 prosecutor agents down to arrest her because she was dropping off, I guess, a condolence note in his car down at this state assembly where he was convening at that point. Union County obviously arrested her. She got a bail posted by Corzine. You probably do know the backstory. By the way, so when it really hit the news, it was like 2009 or 2008. But I was on a rampage to get rid of Cryan because he's a complete embarrassment to Union County government as undersheriff. So back in 2009, I read a statement calling him a disease and to get rid of the disease. And to tell you the truth, that statement I read tonight because it is 100% valid to the exact same issues because of these emails came forward and exposed his perversions, let's say. I don't know if you read it or not. I did read a couple of them. It was kind of disgusting, but maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm conservative. I grew up as a Methodist, so maybe that was the explanation. But anyway, it was raunchy, debauchery, what they were doing. It was disgusting. It came forward. He all along when she was arrested for stalking, he denied that he had a relationship, even though it was out there that yes, the public saw them together, but he denied he had this sexual relationship, kind of like Bill Clinton did. He got impeached. But anyway, so up to this point, it appeared the Sussex County prosecutor and the Union County prosecutor department actually kept this debauchery sexual emails. They kept them under wraps for some reason. They would not release it, unless maybe you can come up with a reason, John. But so it was kept under wraps. Cryan went merrily along, even though he's a pervert. But and he rubbed elbows with, I'm sure, plenty of women in the past, in the last couple of years, which to me is disgusting. But anyway, so they kept him out of line, his perversion out of the limelight. Well, suddenly New York Post had these pile of emails that were supposed to be sequestered, dumped on some reporter's doorstep, so he printed them all. So now the news broke. 2009, I read that statement to get rid of him because more or less it was kind of a nodding agreement that yes, he did have a relationship, he was lying. Plus there's a host of other things that he did in the past too, but that was part of the statement. So it came out, I condemned him. I told the freeholders, if they're stewards of good government, to get rid of Joe Cryan as the disease and as an undersheriff of Union County. They basically, what did they say?
Well, there are two parts to this. I mean, the Bruce YouTube, whatever he said, and I'll try to find the old one too, is underneath here, and he just got to read it without interruption, just went right through it, and nobody seemed to disagree, and they just let him go, and he sat down. Me, they stopped. But I was approaching it from a completely different point of view. I mean, kinky, whatever, it doesn't really interest me. Actually, it nauseates me in some way, just to even think about it. There's some people that you don't really want to think of as sexual. I mean, start with your parents and work. And, you're looking up there, and you just feel unclean when you think about these people having sex. And
they use government property too. That's the real downside.
Yeah, that's what I was moving into, government property in the prosecutor's office. And if any of you out there have an ex-girlfriend or boyfriend that you liked watched because you think they're going to break into your car, the freeholders had an answer for me. I mean, they interrupted me and brought it out. So apparently there is an office in the prosecutor's office that handles this stuff. I don't really, well, I really want to get personal, but I don't have an ex-kinky girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, so I can't really use the prosecutor's office. But if some of you out there, give it a shot. Watch my YouTube, which is underneath Bruce's YouTube, to get into this. And that's pretty much all we have on the Cryan matter. I'm sure there'll be more coming out.
Look, just one issue. I can see this slowly unfolding. Union County government, of course, is embarrassed. However, he's part and parcel to this whole perverted and corrupted system that Union County government has. And like the Scanlon Son affair, the Generator Gate affair, it's going to be tried to be swept under the rug. They'll drag it out as long as possible. They mentioned they have to review the handbook and the bylaws of the county to see what they could do. I think you probably will be able to splice something like that in there, which you do right now. But anyway, so I mean, they sat there, and what came to my mind is listening to them, like, just low key, was where is their outrage? Where is their outrage that this was happening right under their noses inside the county offices? I mean, he didn't want to do kinky things under his desk, the undersheriff desk. And where is the outrage? Not even a statement, well, we'll get to the bottom of this, Mr. Patterson, and believe me, if it is wrong, we will prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. But if they just sat there, because it's their buddy, and it's all part of this perverted system, and basically I've been calling them a criminal enterprise, so has John Bittner been calling it a criminal Jim Bittner, criminal organization. I mean, I'm coming to a realization they're not a county government at all, just some kind of sexual, perverted, corrupted bunch getting self-enriched, and can't be stopped, even no matter how much the watchdogs may reveal. They'll get voted in again and again just to continue on the system. And so it'll probably be swept away. He'll probably get slaps on his back from the behind-the-scenes insiders saying, "Oh boy, I'll tell you, Joe, you really had a lot of fun there, didn't you?" So, but I mean, it's bottom line. It's disgusting. It is part of county government. So they're all kind of made it for each other. They just embrace each other with this. Red badge of courage.
Well, this might be a good time to spice in. Whatever Bruce or I say do not represent the Union County Watchdog Association in any way. They're our own opinions, and don't sue the Union County Watchdog Association for calling Joe Cryan a pervert, which we have no information other than these emails.
Yeah, 150 pages of emails.
Other than these 150 pages of emails about kinky sex, he's probably a fine family man.
All in our opinion.
Yes, exactly. So we'll keep that. But it is a good point. If you had an employee, and however way it came out, if these exact emails came out, would you be quiet? Would you check your handbook to see what you were doing? I mean, you would... and there were some, we didn't really get into details, but, B&G. I mean, how do you get that at work? And was it done at work?
No.
I don't want to bore the audience with what B&G means, but it was amazing. I mean, this kind of stuff. And if they read it, if they didn't even acknowledge reading it or whatever, let the lawyers handle it. But there comes a point where, as a human being,
integrity. The integrity of the system.
I know your job is to stay up there and put on a face and say everything's going well and we're doing a great job, but when something like this happens, there's a certain point of outrage that does have to creep into your... And
no outrage. Wrap-up statements.
It's also others. I mean, it's also like, is Barbara Bono going to share the podium with Joe Cryan from here on? Is any Democrat going to go up there, slap him on the back?
You know what? That's true. I mean, what if Joe Cryan's with Barbara Bono and Barbara's talking? I wonder what Joe Cryan is really thinking. you know, at that moment that
There's
he's
a picture of
staring
him
at.
there's a picture of him getting a women's league something.
Yeah,
Sitting there with his hands. Well, let's not say with his hands.
there's a photo of him sitting with the women's caucus. That's right. I mean, it's like, you know, and now the women find this out. I mean, he's basically untouchable, I guess.
It's Linda Carter, the Year of the Woman, and
this is the Year of the Woman.
well, her thing was
hers,
for
yeah,
women.
yeah. Well,
And here's a woman who was put through the ringer, so to speak, and the guy lied about the relationship, obviously.
yeah, right. And she ended up on probation and PTI. They canceled that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, she did. She went through the ringer, and I really feel sorry for her. You know, I can only assume she must have been in love with him to do those things, but
That's a stretch, though.
anyway, but
there's a lot of
to be
moving parts.
continued. How's that? To be continued.
And
Okay,
it's a
go.
lobbyist, and it's a senator, and you don't really want to. I really don't want to think about the relationship. I mean, it is the kind of thing like mom and dad. You know, forget it.
Yeah.
So watch the YouTubes underneath, Bruce and me.